Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. One of the most common things we hear about what it takes to become successful is to have a morning ritual and wake up earlier. But as we know, not everyone is a natural morning person. I certainly wasn't. I was very much in the night owl person category, and then over time, I became a morning person. So if that's you, and you want to find out how you can wake up earlier and actually become a morning person, then keep on watching. If you're new here and want to improve your mindset, be more productive, and start thinking like an entrepreneur, then hit the subscribe button below and the notification bell so you can stay tuned to the videos that come out. Without further ado, let's dive into the 10 tips on how you can start waking up earlier and actually become a morning person. Tip number 1 is having a pre-bedtime routine. By this, you need to make sure you have a consistent routine before you go to bed. For example, limiting screen time at least 30 to 60 minutes before going to bed can be really helpful. Now, if you do have to use some sort of screen in that time, then make sure you have your nightlight on. Most of the phones and laptops have this built in nowadays, so that's really easy. But if you don't have one, then there's an app called Flux that you can use, and it's free to download, and it just basically removes most of the blue light coming in, so it can help you dim down as you start going to bed. Another thing that can be really helpful is if you have had a worried day or some kind of a bad day and you're thinking about things and you've got a lot on your mind, then maybe try writing it down. A lot of people say that can really be helpful. In fact, it has the same effect as if you were going to go and rant to someone, but of course without the negative consequences. If you write it down, then you won't think about it overnight, so it becomes easier for you to wind down and actually go to bed. The next thing, I haven't tried this one, but a lot of people say is helpful, is having a warm shower before you go to bed. This can really help calm you down and calm all the nerves and relax you so you can go to bed nice and easy. Tip number 2 is to go slow with the changes. Now, we are creatures of habit, so we get used to things. So don't go suddenly to start waking up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. and going to bed at 10 p.m. if you're used to going to bed at about midnight or later and waking up sort of 8 or 9 o'clock. Instead, what I would say is start carving out some time every day or two and changing things out. So maybe make 10 minutes of changes, so 10 minutes of sleeping earlier and 10 minutes of waking up earlier, and change that over a day or two throughout a period of time to the desired times that you want to actually wake up. This can help a lot. This is what I did when I was transitioning. So I used to consistently go to bed about 1 a.m. and then get up around 8, 9 a.m. But then I slowly changed that. Now I go to bed at midnight, but I wake up at 6 o'clock. Yes, I only have 6 hours of sleep. Some people say you should sleep about 8 hours. If that's you, you do you, but I find 6 hours plenty of time, so that's what I do. And really just keep at it. Do this slowly until you establish a pattern in your life and you can start doing this routine. Tip number 3, caffeine. So you've probably heard this one before, but just try to have no caffeine at least 5 hours before going to bed. That can really help wind down. No more on that. Tip number 4, this is to limit your bed to sleeping and leisure activities only. So don't do things that are stressful on the bed. So for example, working or watching some intense TV show. Try and limit that, because you can then condition your brain into thinking that the bed is solely for relaxation purposes. And next time you go to bed, you'll actually start falling asleep right away. Tip number 5 is to get blackout blinds. Especially if you're living near a street light, this can help a lot. I got blackout blinds and it's a game changer. I got these blackout blinds from Amazon. They're relatively cheap, but they're really high quality. I mean, look at the amount of sun it blocks. They're customizable as well, and it's really easily installed. So I'll put the link in the description below, so if you're interested, you can go check that out as well. Now, of course, you can get blackout curtains if that's more your aesthetic, but I'm more of a blinds type person, so you do you. Tip number 6. This is to avoid snoozing. Yes, I went there. I know it can be really difficult, but what I'd say is why not try and trick your brain a little bit into thinking like it's snoozing. So what I started doing here, this literally changed the way I think about waking up forever. So I started setting 2 alarms. I know a lot of people set multiple alarms, but this one is a bit better than that. So 2 alarms, one to when you actually want to wake up, and the other one will be 10 minutes before you want to wake up. Now what this does is kind of tricks your brain into thinking that it's already got the satisfaction of snoozing. So when the first alarm goes off, you have the ability to just turn that off and the full satisfaction of turning it off, and then being able to sleep that extra 10 minutes. And when the second one comes on, it's easier for you to wake up. So this way you get the satisfaction of snoozing and the satisfaction of extra sleep without feeling the guilt of snoozing. And then when you get up the second time, it's easier because you've already got the extra sleep. Tip number 7. Now, if you're still finding it difficult to get up, even after following tip number 6, then there are plenty of apps that you can download which help you get up in the morning by making you do puzzles or math problems and things like that. I've personally not used these apps because what I do instead is count down from 3 and when I started getting up, and that worked for me. So if that works for you, then try that one. If not, then there are some apps. I can link some below as examples, and you can check those out as well. Tip number 8 is to get some Hue lamps. Now these are like the wake up lights you used to get, but better. So wake up lights, for those of you who don't know, are lights you used to get which simulate natural sunlight so you can wake up gradually. I know a lot of people love these, especially during the gloomy days. So having Hue lights is like that, but much better because you can also use them as regular lights or have funky colors to match your mood and light up the room and have some fun with it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll link these in the description below so you can go check them out. Tip number 9. Now this one's really important because this is the one thing that probably sped up my process into becoming a morning person the most. And this one is to have a clear reason for why you want to wake up in the morning. For me, this was going to the gym. So I used to go to the gym in the evenings before, after work or after university, but really I was quite tired and it took up quite a lot of time in the evenings. So I would end up skipping it or maybe not do it. Do I sound a bit familiar to you? So instead, what I did is I pushed that in the morning. So I had a clear reason for why I needed to wake up. I needed to go to the gym so that I can then get prepared for the rest of my day and establish that as my morning ritual or as my routine. And that really worked out. A lot of people also want to maybe meditate or read a book in the morning. I don't do these, but if you want to do that, go right ahead. That's really good. Tip number 10 is to have consistency. This is really important. You need to follow the rest of the tips, but make sure that you are doing it consistently. As I said before, we are creatures of habit. So if you create this as a bit of a routine, that you are waking up in the morning, slowly changing your time from being a night owl to slowly becoming a morning person, then you will be able to establish that as your pattern, and it'll be much easier for you to wake up in the morning. Funnily enough, you start doing this long enough and you'll actually start to like it. I know, weird. Let me know in the comment section below which tip you found to be the most useful. Now, if you like this video, then hit the like button and share it with your friends so they can benefit as well. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can stay tuned to the new videos I put out every week. Alright, that's it for today, guys. Catch you in the next one.